She got a new roommate from Craigslist, but he'd been dead for 12 years. Amber had 48 hours to find a place to live. Her landlord had finally followed through on his threats. Rent hike, eviction, nothing personal. She packed what little she had into a busted Honda Civic and spent 2 nights couch hopping between acquaintances who offered sympathy, but not space. She was broke, tired, one more overpriced Airbnb away from sleeping in the car. That's when she found the ad. Room available, $400 per month. Must be clean. No pets. No drama. Craigslist under Brooklyn Housing Rooms and Shares. The price made her laugh at first. For $100? For a room in Brooklyn? Probably a scam, she muttered. Still, she clicked. There were 4 photos. A charming old brownstone. Red brick, ivy-covered, wide staircase. Hardwood floors. Shared kitchen. Private room with a large window. No filters. No weird angles. Just honest, plain snapshots. Almost like old photos scanned into a digital post. She skimmed the description. Quiet home. I keep to myself. You'll have your own space. I prefer someone respectful and quiet. I work nights. The room is available immediately. Contact Jason W. No phone number, just an email. She hesitated, then wrote, Hi Jason, still available? I'm in need of immediate housing. Can view today. Amber K. She hit send. Less than 5 minutes later, he replied, Still available. Come by any time after 3 p.m. Just knock. He included the address. The place was real. She triple-checked the location on Google Maps. A quiet street on the edge of Park Slope, bordering an older neighborhood she'd never spent much time in. The street was lined with brownstones, most with flower boxes or flickering porch lights. Theirs was the only one with the curtains drawn shut. The number matched, 311 Crescent Hill. She knocked once, expecting silence. The door creaked open. Jason stood there. Mid-30s, lean build, pale skin, jet black hair cropped short, and eyes so light they looked gray. He wore a button-up shirt and slacks. No socks, no smile. You're Amber. She nodded, suddenly unsure. He didn't shake her hand, just opened the door wider. This way. The inside of the house was silent. Old wood floors, thick rugs, dark wallpaper. Every surface clean, but not recently cleaned. Just untouched. The air was cool, stale. Jason spoke softly as he walked. You'll have the upstairs room. Bathrooms shared. Kitchen stocked. I don't eat here much. I work nights. She asked, What do you do? Music, he said. He didn't elaborate. The tour was quick. Every room looked like it hadn't been updated in 20 years. Furniture straight out of a vintage catalog. No TV. No electronics besides a landline phone on a hallway table. But it was clean and quiet and $400 a month. She could barely breathe as she said, I'll take it. Jason nodded. No lease. Pay me cash first of the month. That's all. Amber moved in that evening. It took less than an hour. A few bags, a mattress topper, and an old laptop. Jason was nowhere to be seen after 6 p.m. The house creaked as night fell. Pipes groaned. Wind whispered against the windows, but she chalked it up to age. Until 3:17 a.m., she woke to the sound of footsteps. Slow, deliberate, pacing above her ceiling. But she was on the top floor. There was nothing above her. She lay still, heart pounding, listening as the steps moved, then stopped, right above her bed. Then nothing. Jason was in the kitchen when she came down the next morning. He sat at the table, fully dressed, reading a newspaper. Not scrolling, not typing. Paper newspaper. "Morning," she said, trying to sound normal. He nodded once. No smile. There was no food on the table. No plate. No coffee. Just the paper. She glanced at the front page. It was dated October 14th, 2011. She blinked. Looked again. The date was gone. Now it said, "Today's edition." Jason stood. "Help yourself to anything. I'll be out most of the day." He left without another word. Amber stood in the silent kitchen, something prickling at her neck. She suddenly realized she hadn't heard the front door open or close. By day 3, Amber realized she knew almost nothing about Jason. He was polite barely, quiet almost disturbingly so, and invisible in the way loners often are in big cities. But this felt different. She tried making small talk at breakfast. "Where did you grow up?" He blinked at her like the question didn't compute. "Here. Here like Brooklyn. Here," he repeated, then left the kitchen. That afternoon, Amber decided to look him up. Jason W. Brooklyn musician, Craigslist. Jason West, Brownstone Park Slope. Jason W. Obituaries. Nothing. No Facebook. No Instagram. No music pages. No photos. No listings. Not even a LinkedIn. In New York, that was like being a ghost. She Googled the address instead. 311 Crescent Hill, Brooklyn history. One article from a local blog came up. Crescent Hill brownstone finally back on market after 12 years. The article was vague. Said the place had been vacant due to previous trauma. No details. No owner info. Just that it had been quiet for over a decade. Amber stared at the date. The house had only gone up for rent a week before she moved in. That night, she tried to shake it off. Maybe Jason was just old school, or paranoid, or boring. She took a selfie in the kitchen while drinking wine, trying to look relaxed for her friends. She checked the photo. She froze. She was smiling at the camera. But behind her, in the kitchen doorway, stood Jason. Only he wasn't in the room. And worse, in the photo he had no face, just a pale blur. On her way to grab coffee, she ran into an older woman outside the next brownstone over. "Excuse me," Amber asked. "Do you know Jason? Lives next door." The woman's face shifted. "Jason, tall, quiet guy, says he's lived here for a while." The woman's lips pressed into a line. "Sweetheart, nobody's lived there since the boy died." Amber blinked. "What boy?" She lowered her voice. 12 years ago, musician, took his own life. People say he still, lingers. Amber forced a laugh. "I live there now." The woman blinked. "With who?" "Jason." The neighbor took a long, slow step back. "Honey, Jason's buried at Greenwood Cemetery." That night, Amber locked her door. She didn't sleep. At 3 a.m., the footsteps returned. They circled her room, slow, dragging, then stopped in front of her door. The knob twisted once, twice, then a whisper through the crack. "It's rude to look where you shouldn't." Amber didn't sleep for 2 nights. She tried. Earplugs, sleeping pills, white noise apps. But nothing drowned out the pacing at 3 a.m. The low knocking on her door, the breathing in the hall. Every night it got closer, bolder, hungrier. She started locking her bedroom door with a chair wedged beneath the knob. Started keeping the light on while she slept. started dreaming about fire, blackened hands scratching at the windows, ash falling like snow. Jason was almost never there during the day. When she did see him, he said nothing, just passed her in the hallway, or appeared suddenly in the kitchen, already sitting with the same newspaper, always the same blank expression. Amber stopped trying to speak to him and started trying to prove he existed. She went back online, but this time, she searched deeper. Local Brooklyn archives, scanned newspapers, even paid $5.99 for a week of digital access to the Crescent Hill Gazette. And there it was. Musician found dead in brownstone basement. Suicide suspected. October 2011. A 29-year-old man named Jason Wallace, a reclusive guitarist known in the underground scene, had been found dead in the very same house she now lived in. The article mentioned a neighbor hearing a single guitar chord played over and over again for hours before silence. No signs of struggle. No note. Body found in the basement, hanging from a support beam. Amber felt the air leave her lungs. Same name, same address, same person, only he'd been dead for 12 years. She waited for Jason that night. He came home around midnight, didn't knock, didn't look at her. He walked into the living room like he always did, silent, like air. She followed. "You're dead," she said. He stopped mid-step. "I saw the article," she continued. "You died here in 2011. They found you in the basement." Jason turned to face her slowly, like his body had to remember how. "I never left," he said quietly. His eyes weren't gray anymore. They were black, empty. "I keep the house clean. That's all." Amber stepped back. "What are you?" He tilted his head. "You answered the ad. You said yes." From that moment on, the house changed. Lights flickered. Doors opened and slammed without warning. She'd leave a room and return to find everything rearranged. Food rotted overnight. Her reflection in the mirror started smiling before she did. And every night at 3 a.m., Jason stood outside her door, not knocking, not speaking, just standing. Started with one, a small round mark on her wrist, like a fingertip bruise, then another on her collarbone, then 3 along her hip. Amber took photos, tried to convince herself she was bumping into furniture in her sleep. But she knew better. The bruises matched the shapes of hands. Too large to be Jason's, too cold to be human. On the 5th night, she found it, scrawled across her bedroom wall in thick black ash. "You took his place." She screamed, packed a bag, tried to flee. The front door wouldn't open. She smashed a window. Behind the glass was brick, solid, fresh. Her phone had no signal, no Wi-Fi, no service. Even the clock on the microwave blinked 3:00, 3:00, 3 o'clock. The next night she heard music, soft, a single guitar chord played over and over again. She followed the sound, down the stairs, past the kitchen, toward the basement door she had never dared open. It stood slightly ajar. The music grew louder. Jason sat at the bottom of the stairs, facing away from her, strumming slowly. His fingers moved like they were broken. His head tilted back just enough for her to see his neck, bruised, purple, noosed. Amber turned and ran, but the stairs behind her had vanished. Only the basement remained. Amber didn't remember falling, but when she opened her eyes, she was in the basement. It smelled like burnt wood, old earth, and something metallic, like blood dried into brick. Her flashlight was gone. The walls pulsed, faintly alive, like they were breathing. At the far end of the room, a figure sat in a folding chair, back turned, head drooped. Jason, still strumming his guitar, over and over, a single note. Amber stood up slowly, heart pounding. She whispered, "Jason." He stopped playing, but didn't turn. Instead, he said softly, "You shouldn't have come down here." There was an old wooden shelf on the wall, covered in dust. Amber spotted a row of VHS tapes, labeled in black marker, roommate number 1, roommate number 2, roommate number 3, roommate number 4, and a new one, roommate number 5, Amber. She picked it up. The label was still wet. She looked toward the corner. A vintage VCR TV combo sat on a milk crate. She slid in the tape. The screen buzzed, flickered, then played. Amber turned to him. "What are you?" she asked, voice cracking. Jason finally stood. His neck cracked sideways. "I needed someone to remember me," he said. "I was alone for so long." Amber backed away. "You're dead. You should be gone." "I was gone, but loneliness is louder than death." His face shifted, flickering through the faces of all the roommates she'd seen on the tape. One by one, eyes wide, mouth screaming. "You moved in," he whispered. "You agreed." The walls shook. The air buzzed with whispers, hundreds of them. Amber ran up the stairs, but the door wasn't there. Only more wall, brick, then wood, then hands, pale, thin, reaching out from the drywall, grabbing her clothes, her ankles. She screamed and ripped free, ran toward the kitchen, but now it looked different. Faded, dust-covered, like no one had lived in it for decades. She found her phone on the table. No signal. She tried to smash a window again, but her hand went right through it like smoke. She wasn't in the house anymore. She was part of it. And from behind her, Jason whispered, "You'll get used to it." A new Craigslist ad goes live. Room available, $400 per month. Must be clean. No pets. No drama. Quiet house. You'll have space. I work nights. Roommate, Jason W. Some people rent rooms. Others rent souls. If this story gave you chills, then don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who still leaves the basement light on. And if you want more stories like this one, subscribe before the next roommate finds you.